Peach Fuzz sings for little kids.
Hello, my name is Peach Fuzz. I might look like I eat you up, but I'm as friendly as a rabbit.
I love this movie. Can you believe that I love horror movies? I know, who would have guessed? I'm so often talking about rainbows and shortcakes on this channel. But seriously, I really like horror movies. It's kind of worrying how much I get into them.
It was just so wild. So there's this girl, like little girl, right? And she has a nut allergy, and they go to this party. She eats nuts. She's having this reaction. And the brother comes out. He's frantic. So they get in the car. The little girl's still like. Girl goes to get some air, and then when she sticks her head out the window, the hole comes. Just decapitates this little girl, and it just wild. You just gotta see it.
Okay. So can you work on holidays?
No, your holidays are fine.
The only thing more exciting than watching a horror movie that I think I'm going to like is watching one that I didn't think I would, but was a masterpiece. And that's exactly what happened on a random Saturday afternoon when I had nothing better to do than scroll Netflix and click on the horror movie named Creep.
All right, we are leaving the flatlands and we are heading up towards the mountaintop, which I'll show you right here.
Creep is a very low-budget found footage horror comedy film. On the surface, it's very cliche and probably very similar to other found footage films that you've seen in the past. The only difference is this one actually somewhat makes sense. Here, let me explain. The film follows the protagonist, Aaron, who answers a Craigslist advertisement for someone paying $1,000 for a person to videotape them for an entire day. Aaron has no idea who this person is or what they want him to film, but hey, $1,000 is $1,000. I really like this concept because it gives a unique reason for the camera to keep on rolling. In so many cases, there is no reason for a camera to still be running about halfway through these films. I know exactly what YouTubers make. Filming some Gorgon trying to kill you isn't worth the $30. Aaron arrives at the house and it appears that nobody's home.
Okay, no answer and no voicemail, so that's good.
He videotapes around a little bit and ultimately gets back into his car. And this is when we get introduced to our second and only other character in the entire film, Josef.
Which is...
Hi! Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you.
Oh, it's okay.
I'm assuming you're Aaron.
Yeah.
Josef is the man behind the job, and immediately he's raising some red flags. His introduction to Aaron is basically a jump scare, and he has an odd sense of charisma that you really don't know what to make of in the moment.
I feel like we should just do this right now because at the end of the day, it's going to be normal. So just...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They go inside and Josef begins to explain the job. Apparently, Josef is a cancer survivor who recently found a brain tumor that limits his lifespan to only 3 more months. He has a baby on the way and fully understands that he most likely won't be able to witness the life of his child. He wants Aaron to record him for the day so when his child does grow older, he can watch this footage and see just an average day in the life of his father. He gives Aaron the payment up front, and honestly, it's all kind of sweet. Josef is an oddball at first, sure, but it can be easily explainable by weird social quirks and a man going a little insane over his coming death. We actually, for a brief moment, connect with Josef. And then this happens.
Okay.
Let's do it. I'm going to go get in the tub.
The tub?
Okay, so let's talk about tub time. Tub time is a family tradition to Josef where a father and child take a bath together and have a bonding experience that appears to have touched Josef when he was younger. Now, I'm not dissing tub time. I'm sure this is a very intimate moment between father and son, but Josef proceeds to replicate this by pretending he's holding his unborn child. And placing a rag on his chest to replicate the baby being placed on his skin. And I just have to laugh the entire time at this because Aaron is completely silent throughout the whole interaction. I can only picture just the awkward shock that he must have on his face behind the camera watching this all go down. Josef then suddenly begins to question the world as the weight of his death begins to hit on him mentally.
Can't stop thinking about it, Aaron.
And this soon leads to a suicide attempt. That's a joke. Now, let's take a look at this scenario, because again, I believe the film does a great job at justifying all of Aaron's actions. Clearly, Josef isn't all there, but he does put on a pretty believable story. You also already have the money, and I guess you could just give it back to him, but actually already accepting payment just kind of gives a little extra layer of reason to stay. Most of all though, how could you turn your back to a dying man trying to give one last gift to his unborn child? If I was in that exact scenario, I really don't think I would act much different than Aaron right now. Josef then tells Aaron to wait outside as they're about to take a trip, and this adds a little extra layer of security for Aaron. Would a serial killer just let you walk outside where your car is when you can just drive away? Probably not, I don't know. Aaron goes to get his coat, and this is when we finally meet Peach Fuzz. Peach Fuzz is a wolf mask that Josef owns, which he apparently loves to show off.
Hello, my name is Peach Fuzz. I might look like I eat you up.
While this seems random, this mask actually serves as symbolism displaying the relationship between Josef and Aaron. However, we'll touch on this a little bit later. Apparently, Josef heard of some healing pool that's located deep in the forest. The plan is for him and Aaron to go out into the forest and enter the healing pool in hopes of a miraculous miracle of a recovery. That moment of safety that I just said that Aaron secured, yeah, well, that's gone. Now, looking a bit deeper at this starts to raise some red flags. The point of this recording was to document sweet moments in the everyday life of Josef. However, visiting a healing pool doesn't necessarily fit in with this theme. It has nothing to do with the child and certainly isn't an everyday affair. This, in combination with both of them being alone, deep in the forest, our guard for Aaron's safety begins to rise once again. Out of nowhere, Josef mysteriously runs deep into the forest, and then we expect the worst to finally come.
Joseph?
Oh my God. Holy cow. Here, I just need to show you something. You need to see your face. All right, you're a little mad, I'm sorry.
Once again, Josef gets very amused by scaring Aaron. See, now here's the thing. Josef doesn't want to kill Aaron, nor does he exactly want to keep him safe. Josef wants to play with Aaron. He's amused by the constant hills of safety, confusion, and danger. Like a wolf, Josef is playing with his prey for the moment, sizing him up and seeing what emotions he can draw out of him. It doesn't appear like it, but Josef knows how to act normal. He's not unaware that he's doing really odd and weird things. We can see the real him break through every now and then.
Really amazing is there was about 2 seconds there after you were done being scared where it looked like you wanted to kill me.
No, it was just a...
I don't take it personally. I think it was a visceral reaction, you know? It's a defense thing, but there's an animal in you. There's a little peach fuzz inside you yet.
Josef knows exactly what he's doing. Tub time, the wolf mask, all just an act to play with Aaron and to have him confused on what exactly is going on here. Josef is a true sociopath on the rawest level. In fact, Josef is even trying to play with the audience. Aaron is the straight man in this film. He's expressing all the same concerns and emotions that the audience has. We are getting equally trolled just as Aaron is. It's brilliant. I had no idea where the story was going at this point in the film. They finally reach the healing pools, have another somewhat sweet and touching moment, and go to grab a bite to eat at a restaurant Josef says he knows very well.
Let's see what's good here.
Pancakes, right? Didn't you say you used to come here with your family?
What's that?
Didn't you used to come here for years?
Oh, yeah. No, it's just they changed the menu. So I was curious if there was anything else. But yeah, I mean, obviously the pancakes are the thing.
Again, we go from an area where the risk of danger is very high to somewhere where it's non-existent. Constant hills and loops of safety and relief. It's only here that Aaron finally catches some inconsistencies with Josef's story. Although some red flags are raised, they are in a crowded restaurant and they still have to drive Josef back home, so Aaron decides to not make a scene and just tuck it away in his pocket. Josef then grabs a camera and tells Aaron to tell one of his most embarrassing stories. Again, what would a child care about this information?
I used to just pee my pants a lot when I was a little kid.
All that Josef is doing is forcing Aaron to become vulnerable and recording the entire thing. They finally return home and Aaron fully understands that things aren't quite right. He says he's going to take off for the night, however, Josef tries to convince him to stay.
Oh. I was going to pour you a whiskey.
I absolutely love this shot. The camera makes Josef appear as if he's this dark entity looking over Aaron from steps above. The impending evil trying to convince Aaron to walk into his home once more and stay a little while longer. The shot is a brief break from the weird and unnatural Josef that we've been seeing and truly displays the evil that he really is under this whole persona.
One drink, okay? One drink, and I'll send you on your merry way. Please?
Okay.
Aaron hesitantly agrees and they walk back into the house. Once again, the danger levels were now down here and suddenly they're back up here. Josef obviously acknowledges Aaron's hesitation and makes a quick gesture promising more money in the future as he respects Aaron as a friend.
I want to give you some money, Aaron.
Josef then attempts to have another sincere and intimate moment with Aaron, which is what is probably one of the most disturbing and unsettling stories I have ever heard.
Would you sit down, please, and turn the camera off? Now.
Okay.
He tells Aaron to turn the camera off as he doesn't want his son to hear the story, but with Aaron fearing for his safety, he simply covers the lens and keeps the camera rolling for the audio, in the event that Josef confesses a murder or some other criminal activity. However, I really don't think Aaron would have ever expected what he got. Josef begins where one day the internet was just running slow. He calls support and they advise Josef to clear his browser history as this could affect the internet speed. He follows the instructions and finds an unbelievable amount of pornography in his browser history, most of which consisting of animals. The only other person using the internet in the house was his wife. A few days go by and Josef ends up lying to his wife, saying that he's going to go on a business trip where he has to stay the night. He leaves for a few hours and then visits the 99-cent store. Here, he finds a large wolf mask. That's right, this is the origin story of Peach Fuzz. He returns home, puts on the mask, breaks through the back door, and finds his wife sleeping on his bed. He ties her up and, hey Josef, you want to explain what happens here?
We proceeded to have ravenous, animalistic, sexual intercourse.
After finishing, Josef escapes out the window and returns as himself the next morning. He asks how his wife's night was, and she responded with, just fine. Yeah, Aaron, I bet you really wish he was a Zodiac now, huh? So out of everything that happened in the day, this is the final line for Aaron.
That's great.
That didn't feel great to me.
No, I think we got it.
He frantically tries to leave, but he suddenly can't find his car keys.
Have you seen my keys?
They're in your jacket, right?
He starts to get understandably nervous and antsy, and you can tell Aaron fully knows that Josef stole them. He starts checking drawers and cabinets to find where Josef hid them until Josef, slips the good old, why don't you stay the night?
You can stay here. I've got plenty of comfortable beds. We got nice whiskey here. It's a long drive down.
Joseph, I need to go home.
Aaron was having none of this. In no world was he going to stay the night, and he's now in fight or flight mode. After a little debate with Josef, he calms down and begins to think a little more strategically. He accepts the deal to stay the night and offers to pour another drink. Josef is relieved, and while his guard is down, Aaron pours something in his drink. They cheers, and not long after, Josef begins to feel the effects of the drug he was given as he drifts off to sleep.
That didn't taste weird to you? So, it's weird.
Desperate to leave, Aaron searches for his keys. He checks Josef's pockets, but only finds a cell phone. He's about to check the second pocket when suddenly the phone goes off and the ringer is obnoxiously loud. Aaron runs off to take the phone call, to which a woman answers who Aaron expects to be Joseph's wife. Surprise, surprise, this is not the case.
My brother has problems.
This is Joseph's sister, who has no idea who Aaron is, what story Josef told him, or what cabin that they're at right now. The entire story was a lie, and Joseph's sister has one piece of advice for Aaron.
Okay, never mind. Listen, I'm going to recommend that you go ahead and just leave.
Aaron gets up to leave, however, he finds that Josef is missing. With no idea of where he is, he slowly walks throughout the house, taking his time to not let Josef sneak up on him. He finds the balcony door cracked and slowly walks out, to which he finally finds Josef.
Death. It's coming.
He tries his normal, "oh, I'm dying" ruse, except now Aaron knows the story.
Joseph, I know what's going on here. I know you're troubled. I'm willing to help.
In this moment, Aaron feels like he has the high ground. He figures that Josef is just a troubled guy who has something wrong with him. He was able to successfully trick and jug Josef, so now feeling like the bigger wolf, Aaron feels like he can talk down Josef and leave on a sympathetic note. After all, if Josef really did want to kill Aaron, he had many opportunities already.
Talk to Angela.
This doesn't go exactly to plan. Aaron follows Josef and finds him guarding the door in the peach fuzz mask. And now take note of this dialogue.
Are you gonna let me go? Why are you doing this to me? Are you just trying to scare me? Or... Okay, well, I'm terrified.
This is the game that Josef is playing. He doesn't get off on killing, he gets off on playing with his victims, making them scared, all while they record the entire interaction. It's brilliant, it really is. The scene ends like this.
Stop it!
At this point, we assume that Josef killed Aaron. He chopped him up, put him in some garbage bags, and is now burying the body.
Okay, so a little context here. After our scuffle, I don't know where he went. He just ran off.
Nope, Aaron escaped, which is a little odd. This entire segment was basically part A to the film. We break down the story of Josef, and at this point we fully understand that he's a lunatic. The story is revealed, and what comes next is dealing with it. Josef sent him the bag burial video with no other explanation. Now, I love this movie because Aaron does a fantastic job of both plot and acting wise, perfectly representing what somebody would do in this situation. However, it's not perfect. There are a few times where I disagree. For one, right here, Aaron never called the cops. It's confirmed that Josef now knows his home address and he's still not scared enough to call the police. I would have called it as soon as I left the cabin. The only thing I can pawn it off on is that Aaron is slightly sympathetic for Josef, as he isn't well. And in the end, Josef didn't really do much to physically harm Aaron. I don't think Aaron considers Josef to actually be dangerous. We then cut to a new vlog-style commentary Aaron gives about his recurring dreams of Josef.
I've been having crazy-ass dreams tonight.
This dream he describes where Joseph's wearing the peach fuzz mask, except Aaron's also wearing the mask of a little baby wolf. Now, here's where things actually start to freak Aaron out. He soon gets a large box with no return address. Aaron's pretty confident that this is from Josef. He opens the box to find a knife, a DVD, and a baby wolf. This clearly freaks Aaron out because what's the odds that this is a coincidence? Could Josef have somehow saw the video that Aaron made describing his dream? I'm not sure how that would be possible, but maybe. The DVD shows Josef describing how in that moment in the woods, when he scared Aaron, he noticed a wolf in him. Something Josef admired. Whether Aaron realizes it or not, Josef believes a little part of him lives in Aaron as well. He then describes how there's an unbelievable feeling you get when you jab a knife into something.
You stick a knife in something and you gut it and you really dig inside. I don't know, man. It's all this beautiful stuff.
He instructs Aaron to cut open the baby wolf and find the gift he left inside. Aaron thinks about it for a little bit, but finally opts to open the wolf with his bare hands. Aw, look at that. Josef has a little crush. That's so cute. Finally, what he should have done a while ago, Aaron proceeds to arm all of his doors with extra locks and call the police. Unfortunately, however, the police aren't really that helpful.
No, I don't know his last name. No, I don't know where he lives. We met at a cabin. He claimed it was his, but I looked it up and it's just some rental. No, I have no way of finding him or contacting him. Well, there must be something you can do.
Not long after, Aaron starts another vlog about a new dream he's having. However, it gets cut short when a loud noise happens outside.
They push up. What you do?
Okay. Lights.
And this really is what I love. The acting on both sides is just incredible. It's so rare that I can connect with a serious, genuine, natural reaction like this. He turns on all the lights and begins to survey the area. While checking out the rest of the house, however, we see Josef appear behind the glass door in the distance. He watches until Aaron begins to enter the room to when he hides, and we see Aaron begin to check outside. Again, this is another moment where I don't quite agree with the actions of the protagonist. You know a possible serial killer is chasing after you. Why would you check outside where the noise came from? It makes no sense. You're behind locked doors. We have seen dozens times before where we expect Josef to attack Aaron, but he doesn't. Well, up that number by 1, this is another point where Josef tries to play with Aaron and the audience as well.
Goddamn raccoons.
Once again, we get another DVD from Josef, except this time he's not so pleased. He confirms that he was at his house and he found one of the previous DVDs thrown in the trash.
Hey, Aaron. I get this. You know, you get a grave digging video in the mail, you throw it away. That's not a big deal.
However, he dismisses this because he understands why you might be threatened by a grave digging video. What he's not so pleased about is finding this.
This was harder for me to accept.
Josef now wants to apologize to Aaron. He wants one chance to finally clear the air and explain his side of the story. He tells Aaron to meet him at this public park where he can feel safe from danger. All that Josef wants is just, one more chance. He only stalked me, played with my emotions, lied to me, lured me out to a cabin, broke into my house, but one more chance should do it. Wanting this to all end and still feeling like Josef is just a troubled human, Aaron agrees to meet him at the park. He goes to the park and indicates that he's going to record the entire interaction, and he has 911 on speed dial in case things go south. Aaron sits down at the bench and we actually hear a chainsaw go off in the distance. This is actually important. We see Aaron turn around for a moment, but he notices that it's just some other workers somewhere in the distance at the park. This scene right here made the entire movie for me. This was one of the very few times in the entire film that I actually felt like there was some layer of safety for Aaron. The park is public. We hear tools indicating that somebody is somewhere off in the distance, but they're present. This isn't some desolate cabin. Aaron's just wide out in the open. There's no hidden buildings or trees or small places where something could happen. However, they finally do it. In the one moment of safety, in one of the very few moments of safety, they pull this out. With our foolish guards dropping in the bottom corner of the screen, we see Josef slowly walk up behind Aaron. Very, very slowly. Put on the peach fuzz mask. And chop him over the head with an axe. I love this film because it's a troll in one of the best ways possible. You spend over an hour getting toyed with just the same way that Aaron is. You feel all of Aaron's emotions. You defend all of Aaron's decisions. Tiptoe on ice through cabins, woods, stalkers, all for a slip of judgment from Aaron to finally cause him to die in one of the most unexpected places in the entire movie. You know exactly how the film's gonna end. Josef is clearly a killer. Yet the acting on both sides is so phenomenally well done. So many weird and goofy scenes that are done so perfect. I can't look at this actor without thinking that he's a psychopath now. And I can't give all the credit to him. Aaron was just as phenomenal too. Most often in these films, just the acting's kind of poor. Oh God, guys, what's... This film feels more real than any other found footage film that I've ever seen before. One thing I would say that I think is kind of unrealistic is Aaron recording all of the footage after he left the cabin. They do a good job at explaining the cabin, right? You're getting paid to do a job. You're meant to be recording the entire thing, and you don't entirely size Joseph to be a threat up until the very, very end. But after that, if I'm seriously fearing for my safety, I'm not gonna record the whole thing. I'm gonna call the police and get security. Also, one of the biggest problems in getting the police to help was he had no idea where or how to find Joseph. He could have just brought the police to the park. There's a lot of weird and unexpected things that happen at the very end of the film. However, let's continue for the rest, because Joseph actually gives an explanation on why he believes Aaron did what he did. We find out that Joseph is currently re-watching the footage of the murder and questions Aaron's decision.
Keeps getting better. I remember the first time I watched this, Aaron, and I thought to myself, okay, it was smart that you filmed it, and it was smart that you put your phone on speed dial for the cops. But why didn't you at least look behind you? I mean, it just seemed dumb that you would just sit there.
However, whether true or not, Joseph finds comfort in the following reason.
No matter what I did to you, you believed I was good, and I would do you no harm.
The film ends with Joseph putting the tape away while on the phone with his next victim.
Yes, this is Bill. The job is pretty simple, really. All you need is a video camera, yourself, and 8 hours of your time.
Amongst the hundreds of other tapes he has collected throughout the years, we see him place Aaron with, unlike the others, a heart below his name. This movie is the footage of Joseph's favorite murder.